Lauren Johnson reporting at the BMW Guys Garage. Here with you live, working on this bike.
Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be troubleshooting this BMW R1150R for a no crank, no start situation. Before we get started, please subscribe if you haven't already. That really helps me out and it keeps me motivated to get videos like this coming. So, little backstory on this bike. It's a BMW R1150R. The tabs expired in 2019. As far as I know, it hasn't been ran since 2019, so it's been sitting for, we're gonna say, 5 years. Customer dropped it off, no crank, no start situation. So we are going to be working through this bike together and troubleshooting this step by step. I have a very methodical way of troubleshooting through stuff like this. And if you follow along and follow my troubleshooting steps, I'm gonna explain why I do what I do and why I do it in the order that I do it. And hopefully that'll make sense to you guys. I'll be able to translate this to hopefully make really good sense to you guys, even if you're not very mechanically inclined. We'll work through this together, and at the end of this video, we will have a running motorcycle. Let's get to it. So this being a no crank, no start situation, the first thing we're gonna do is look at the battery. It's been sitting since 2019, so we'll say 5 years. That just makes sense. The battery hasn't been charged in 5 years. More than likely, the battery is totally shot. So we'll get these seats off. And you know, even though I'm working on a R1150R, this procedure you'll be able to translate over to, honestly, any BMW R1150 or R1100 model. So don't be discouraged if it's not on your R1100 RT. We'll get through this together, I promise. So to get at the battery on this bike, the battery is located right underneath the tank here. So we're gonna have to, obviously, remove the tank. If you're working on like an RT, like I mentioned earlier, you just have to pop off the left body side panel and the battery kind of slides in and slides out. On this model, it's under the tank. So let's pop the tank off. Also, if you noticed how I just removed these, I removed it in such a way that it only can be connected correctly. What the heck is that? Looks like we had some tenants that were here uninvited. I'm just gonna check the voltage of this battery. I can pretty much tell you that it's toast without testing it. But hooking it up, looks like we got 0.8 volts. Yep, that battery's pretty much dust. With a 10 mil, I'm going to undo the battery terminal connections, get this battery out of here, and get it ready for a new battery. And the battery that I'm gonna put in here, I've had really good luck with them, and I've personally have experienced roughly the same lifespan as like an OEM BMW battery, but for a fraction of the cost. So I will have that linked in this video for you guys. And then we'll drop our new battery in. A lot of you BMW people are probably noticing I didn't undo the strap. That's because I don't have to. I just kind of pulled it to the side, lift the battery up, put the new battery in, and just stretched it back over. So I've successfully installed a new battery, so now I'm going to see if it cranks. Look at that. Keys on, everything lights up. Obviously the gas tank is not connected, so I'm not expecting it to start, but we'll see if it cranks. Look at that. So new battery, the bike now cranks, and it sounds very healthy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to loosely put the gas tank on now that we know the bike starts, and hopefully it should fire right up. Off camera, full disclosure, off camera, I drained the gas and put fresh gas in here. Knowing that it's been sitting for 5 years, it was a smart thing to do, and I do not want to be putting old junky gas through the fuel rail. So I just have the gas tank very loosely set on here. I don't have any of the vent lines hooked up, but kind of my next troubleshooting step that I'm doing here is I'm just going to plug in the gas tank. This is the fuel pump plug. I'm going to plug that in and then hook up these lines. And when I turn the key on, we should make some noise. So let's get these connected up, make sure those are secure so they don't blow off, make sure that's hooked up, and we will see if she starts. So I'll turn the key on, and what we're going to be listening for is a fuel pump noise. And this is not specific to the R1150R, literally everything in the world. You're going to turn the key on, and you'll hear a fuel pump go, meh. It'll prime fuel through the system, build pressure. Once it builds pressure, it'll shut off. So when I turn the key on, we should hear that, which we did. So that's a good sign. Turn this key on, you'll hear that. Cycle it a couple times, and it works. So without further ado, let's hit the start button and see if she starts. And look at that. I think there was some mice living in the exhaust. So I'm going to get this thing all buttoned up, but I'm going to walk you through some troubleshooting steps if the fuel pump didn't make that noise. So, that's what I was totally expecting. I was expecting to turn the key on and not hear a noise. But like I said, I'm doing this 100% candid along with you guys. I didn't do any pre-work, and I'm just troubleshooting the bike as if your bike sat for 5 years and you're working through it at home. So if that fuel pump did not make a noise, or I don't know, the bike just cranks and doesn't start, the next troubleshooting step that I would have done is I would have sprayed some starting fluid right in here, right down the air box, and what that would have done is artificially supplied fuel to the engine. So if I would have sprayed starting fluid down here, and then the bike were to pop right off and run smoothly and then die, that's going to tell me that the bike's not getting fuel. So obviously, the next step would be to replace the fuel pump assembly. But now let's say I turn the key on, the fuel pump makes a bunch of noise, it does its little noise, and then I crank the bike and the bike just cranks and cranks and cranks and cranks and doesn't start. That's going to tell me that it's ignition related. So when I say ignition related, that could be the Hall effect sensor, the ignition coil, or even a spark plug, or even a spark plug wire. Now diving in a little bit further to if it was an ignition issue, if we spray starting fluid down the air intake and the bike runs, but only on one cylinder, that's really going to point me in the direction of a coil. But if it doesn't run at all, that's going to point me in the direction of a Hall effect sensor. The Hall effect sensor controls both cylinders. If the Hall effect sensor fails, neither cylinder will run. If a coil fails, only one cylinder will run. And to verify a failed coil, let's just say hypothetically speaking here, only the right side, it only runs on the right side. We will then remove the coil and swap it with the left. So now if we restart it and it's only running on the left side, well then it's very obvious the problem followed the coil. So obviously our problem is the coil. So now again, back to our troubleshooting steps. Let's just say the bike cranks, starts, but runs very rough after it's been sitting forever. Well, we don't really know the history of the bike. We can, if it had very bad fuel sitting in it, like this one sat with a quarter tank of fuel, and that fuel was horrendous. So that would almost point me to the injectors. So it runs, but it runs very poorly. So if it runs very, very poorly, that's telling me that either, the injectors are plugged or gummed up and they need to be replaced or upgraded. But it also could be a vacuum leak around the throttle body, or the throttle body's poorly synchronized. But if the throttle bodies were poorly synchronized, they're not just going to fall out of sync by just sitting in the garage. So that's going to tell me that there's going to be like a vacuum leak, because rubber will dry rot and crack just by sitting in the garage. So down here in the throttle body kind of airbox region, what we can do is, with the bike running, assuming the bike's running very poorly, we can take my good friend starting fluid and blast it around this area. And if you notice the idle all of a sudden pick up to the point where it's like, and then pick up 200 or 300 RPM, that means there's a vacuum leak. So the bike is sucking in that starting fluid and basically giving it extra fuel on top of the extra air that it's getting, which will then raise the idle. And you'll notice it. It'll be very significant. And you're going to want to do that on both sides. Thank you very much for watching. I know this video, hopefully, was a really good help for some of you guys that are troubleshooting a bike at home, but I'll be sure to have plenty more troubleshooting videos, hopefully with more bikes that give great examples of troubleshooting. Obviously this bike, the fuel pump and everything functioned fine. Everything seemed to work okay. I haven't taken it for a ride, but I'm going to get the gas tank back on, kind of throw the body panels back on, throw the seat on, spin it around the block, see how it runs. Since it's been sitting for 5 years, I'm going to change the rear drive oil, transmission oil, engine oil. Might as well change the air filter, spark plugs, and just get it back up to speed as far as maintenance goes. But like I said, please subscribe. That's the type of stuff that keeps me going, and I will be sure to post more troubleshooting videos in the future that'll help you guys if you have a similar issue at home. Whether that issue be like a crank, no start, or whatever. Honestly, I've been doing this for the greater part of a decade, and I've never had a bike that I wasn't able to fix, knock on wood. So, like I mentioned, please subscribe, and if this video helped you out in any way, please consider giving me a super thanks or joining this channel. And as always, have a safe ride.